051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Two roads diverged in a wood, a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I took the first, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere, ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Trouble, the rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel, the rough way to go. But I can't tell you, my heart is fixed, my mind's made up. Oh, I'll never stop in my faith. We'll see me through. I gotta tell you, all alone, this lonesome road I roam, I've got no love, call my very own. Oh, the river gets deeper, the hills get steeper, and the pain gets deeper every day. I've got to travel in the rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel in the rough way to go. But I can't turn back. My heart is fixed, my mind's made up. No, I'll never stop in my faith. We'll see me through. One more thing. I dream of home, far beyond the sea, where there is love, peace and joy for me. Oh, in my as I see it. Troubles and danger for me, but destiny, where my destiny leads me, I must go. Yeah, yeah. I've got a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. But I can't turn back. My heart is fixed, my mind's made up. No, I'll never stop. My faith will see me through. Oh, help me somebody. Help me somebody. Somebody please help me right now.
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the fourth day of the 10th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Fruits and Vegetables, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the fourth day of the 10th month of the Atlantic hurricane season, and the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, is reporting that advisories are being issued on Hurricane Sam, located over the far North Atlantic, and they've also issued the last advisory on the remnants of Victor, located over the central tropical Atlantic. In the meantime, a large area of disorganized cloudiness and showers continues over the southeastern Bahamas and adjacent southwestern Atlantic waters in association with a surface trough. Upper level winds are not expected to be favorable for significant development of this system, while it moves slowly northwestward over the next several days. Now, as far as the National Meteorological Service is concerned, otherwise known as the Met Service here in Jamaica, the forecast for the rest of this afternoon we'll tell you in a moment. But first, the Met Office is telling us that a trough across Jamaica and the Central Caribbean is the significant feature at this time, and that there's also a tropical wave east of Jamaica. The Met Office says the tropical wave is expected to move across the island today, while the trough is expected to linger. Remember, when you hear of a trough, think bad weather. For those who describe it as such, it has something to do with clouding, something to do with rain, and related features. So whenever you hear trough, think bad weather. And so let's just get back to the weather report then from the National Meteorological Service. It has become so much more important now than ever before with the effects of climate change to keep our listeners and viewers all over the world, not least of all right here in Jamaica, and in particular here in Jamaica, on the weather situation as often as we can. And so the tropical wave, well, having mentioned the trough, as being indicative of testy weather, of bad weather, to put it simply. A tropical wave, which it's also called easterly wave or tropical easterly wave and African easterly wave, in and around the Atlantic Ocean. It's a type of atmospheric trough. Again, you hear that word trough, so you know something is brewing in terms of some kind of a weather system. And also, another feature is an elongated area of relatively low air pressure, which is oriented north to south, essentially moving north to south, except that it moves from east to west across the tropics, causing areas of cloudiness and thunderstorms. So that's in essence what the tropical wave is, formed in the easterly flow along the equator, and normally follows an area of sinking, intensely dry air blowing from the northeast. Hope we managed to give you a picture of what the tropical wave is. We sometimes take it for granted that people know what we're talking about because they hear the weather report and even in the newscasts, these terms being used. So the tropical wave is expected to move across the island today, while the trough is expected to linger across Jamaica through to Wednesday. Additionally, expect windy conditions, especially across southern parishes, from now until Wednesday. The forecast for the rest of this afternoon: cloudy and windy with showers and thunderstorms across most parishes. Tonight, lingering showers and thunderstorms across eastern and south central parishes. Do we have time to give you the usual introduction? Let's see. Just to say quickly, as we get ready to go to the break here on both sides of the story, that the month of October is being celebrated as Jamaica Red Cross Month, Lupus Awareness Month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Oral Health Month, National Heritage Month, Correctional Services Month, Cybersecurity Month, and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. More in a moment.
I've got a hard road to travel, a rough way to go.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. And when it comes to keeping you connected to them, Grace Kennedy Money Services Western Union makes it safer and easier. Now friends and family overseas can use the Western Union app or westernunion.com to send money directly to your bank account without leaving home. Receive a Western Union money transfer directly into your bank account with a direct-to-bank service. Register online at gkmsonline.com and share your banking details with your sender so you don't have to leave home to collect.
The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the added danger of variants, has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others. And on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight, and with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready. Cause time's getting traded. Just say, don't you worry. Living in the positive.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here, Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
I've got a hard road to travel and a rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel and a rough way to go. But I can't turn back. My heart is fixed, my mind's made up. No, I'll never stop in my faith. We'll see me through. One more thing, I dream of a home far beyond the sea, where there is love, peace and joy for me. Oh, in my eyes I see troubles and danger for me, but destiny, where my destiny leads me, I must go. I've got a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. But I can't turn back. My heart is fixed, my mind's made up. No, I'll never stop in my faith.
Also of note this week is National Customer Service Week. National Customer Service Week. The Jamaica Stock Exchange is also observing the 14th Annual National Investor Education Week. The Chartered Accountants, we believe, are marking this week as Chartered Accountants Week. The Jamaican German Society, between late last week and coming into this week, I think they're still marking Jamaican German Week. In the United Kingdom, October is Black History Month. National Manufacturers Month activities usually take place in the month of October. It's Independence Day in Lesotho, Peace Day in Mozambique, St. Petronius Day in Italy, and National Cinnamon Bun Day in Sweden. It's World Animal Day. Hoy es lunes, el 4 de octubre 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
Never stop in my faith.
C'est lundi le 4 octobre 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutent où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme elle de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
We'll see me. Oh, help me somebody. Help me somebody. Somebody.
All we're saying is it's Monday, the 4th of October, 2021. And we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
We'll see me. I better tell you, I'm all alone. This lonesome road I roam.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point, this is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, downloadable from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you have logged on to the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook in the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you'll be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. We thank those of you who have logged on to the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to Both Sides of the Story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. If you're one of those who have had to dial a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States or the United Kingdom, we welcome you in a very special way. If you'd like to be able to do likewise, here are the numbers. Those in the United States who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631 359 8281. 631 359 8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330 606 0953. 0330 606 0953. Now, for the, I know I mentioned Facebook, knowing full well that there has been a major blackout when it comes on to the social media networks, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. But guess what? YouTube is still running. Find your way to YouTube. Go to the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel and you'll be able to follow us on YouTube. Yes, indeed. We know it's been one of those days. I see some people crying, or more like bawling buckets of tears, that social media is down. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter. Or is Twitter? Did I see Twitter up? Let me check it again. Hold on. Let's see what's happening with Twitter. Let us see what's happening with Twitter. It seems to be working. Yeah, Twitter seems to be working. Yeah, there's the National Hurricane Center telling us on Twitter. Let's see. Swells from Sam will continue to affect the northern Leeward Islands, the Greater Antilles, portions of the Bahamas, and southeastern Newfoundland for the next day or so. So Twitter is still happening. WhatsApp is not happening. It doesn't appear so. Let's see. Let's see if we can send a WhatsApp message. No, it's perpetually connecting without connecting. So WhatsApp is in a perpetual state of connecting, but not connecting. Facebook, let's see what's the latest with Facebook. So you can see the stories up top of just a couple of pictures of your friends or followers. We see a message here from Janet Silvera, which was posted 7 hours ago. And there are other messages that this one was posted, this one by Michelle Scott, posted a day ago. So there's no updating taking place on Facebook right now. No updating. You're not going to get the latest. So Facebook is still down. Let's hop across to Instagram and see what's happening. We see a post from LaRonda Robinson, and we're getting a message that says, "We're sorry, but something went wrong. Please try again." And couldn't refresh feed. What are some of us going to do now? What a thing. Not for the first time. This has happened before. Not the first time. This has happened before. Well, let's talk about life without social media. How about that this afternoon? But first, we have to talk about Land Solutions. Let's take that break. Let's take the break and come back with that feature in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, logistics, engineering, marine tourism, port management, security administration, and management, among others. For further information, contact them 876-924-8150 or 924-8175 or email info@cmu.edu.jm.
Top graduate in English, Shakia Matthews. Yes, I might be able that.
What's new with you? PATH needs to know if your child is starting primary or secondary school so that you can continue to receive your benefits, including a nutritious lunch for your child.
Would I believe you are graduate? You just remember to tell the PATH people about our new school, is it?
Visit or call the Ministry of Labour and Social Security PATH Parish Office. We need to know so your child can grow with PATH.
The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the added danger of variants, has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others. And on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight, and with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready. Cause time's getting traded. Just say, don't you worry. Living in the positive.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, with or without Facebook or Instagram. Land Solutions, as we say in Jamaica, still a keep. Land Solutions, still a keep. Land Solutions is still on this Monday afternoon. This is the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The Land Solutions text line is the same as the WhatsApp number. That's 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183. There's a website for Land Solutions, landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In light of the COVID-19 protocols, all are encouraged to call the offices, the law offices of Brown, Findley and Company, and you'll be advised accordingly. The numbers to call: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, for the first time this afternoon, let's say hello and welcome to Attorney at Law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, listeners. Welcome again to Land Solutions. And Dervan, we might have to go back to Telegram soon.
Oh boy, what a thing.
What a thing. So the numbers to call 922-4112 to 922-4113 to 5, because we are on number 2. 922-4113 to 5, and the text line 387-3183. And remember, you can talk to me about anything related to land. And I join with the earlier ad to encourage my listeners. I say it most weeks that most of my listeners are older persons. I know you'll have many, many reasons, and you are told many reasons why you should not be vaccinated. And a number of persons are saying because they have underlying issues, underlying illnesses, they are not going to be vaccinated. But you are the persons who need to be vaccinated. Especially if you had kidney troubles in earlier times, that's important to be vaccinated. We have seen where 100, I think a lady 119 years old in one of the islands died from COVID. Another lady in another island, 106 years old, died from COVID. So it's not afraid of you because of age, and you should not be afraid of it because of age. And I again encourage my listeners, get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated for months now. Many persons have been. And it saves life. It's showing all the hospitals are saying that the persons they have in hospital, they are not vaccinated, which means that vaccination is keeping you out of hospital and maybe keeping you alive. So I want to encourage listeners. I know they're telling you all, you're hearing all kind of myths, and we're listening to all the stories we're hearing. But what about the stories of the 25 who died yesterday and the 13 today? What about those? Those are not stories that we should listen to. Why listen to the 1 and 2 about an adverse reaction? I'm encouraging my listeners, get vaccinated. The numbers to call 922-411-225. And the text line, as I said earlier, 387-3183. I want to go directly to a text message. A listener is saying that he has got notice to vacate a premises if he should continue paying rent. Let's look at it this way. Suppose you don't get another place for the next year. That should answer the question. So if you get notice, you need to continue paying rent until you leave the people's premises. Notice cannot prevent you from paying rent. And even if you have paid a security deposit, you cannot say, I'm leaving out the security deposit. It is what it is, a security deposit. You get it back after. So you can't say, I'm going to leave out the back payment. You ought to pay your rent right up until the day you vacate the premises. And then you can ask the landlord to refund your security deposit if there's no reason for the landlord to hold any portion or all of it. So it is very, very, very important to note that notice does not preclude, does not prevent you. You cannot use notice as an excuse to say I'm not paying rent. And we want to encourage persons who are renting premises, make sure you know about your tenant. Get a photograph of the tenant. Know where the tenant has worked, where the tenant has lived before, where the tenant is working, where the tenant's children go to school. Get information on your tenant so the tenant cannot just disappear on you. Because I know we're going to have, with all these many buildings going up, and a lot of persons, they love to live in new houses, but they can't afford new house rent. So we're going to have a lot of landlord and tenant issues in the coming years. So that's something I'm warning persons about. What is the time limit to probate a will? Well, you really should try to probate the will within 3 years. But if you have not probated the will and 20 years, 30 years have passed, you can still probate. So there's nothing to preclude. But when you wait until after 3 years, you have to do something called an affidavit of delay to explain to the court why is it that you are still probating, why you are probating so late. You could say, there are many reasons why you could say, because whatever the reason, maybe you took too long to get legal representation, maybe you did not know that you had to probate, whatever the reason, you just explain to the court why you are so late. But it's not as if it's going to affect the validity of the will or anything like that. But it's important that we act as quickly as possible. I don't like when persons come to me to probate a will and the person isn't buried yet. I don't like that. But as soon as the person has been buried, and sometimes you need a little time to grieve, get that over with, but don't wait too long. And I encourage, a lot of times the executors are abroad. If you're abroad and you feel you cannot manage the probate, to deal with the probate, you can appoint somebody in Jamaica, give them a power of attorney to apply for the probate on your behalf. But don't just go away with the documents, sit at ease while the other beneficiaries living in Jamaica are having challenges in securing whatever legacy was left to them because the executor has migrated. So act quickly when it comes to probate. But if you have not done it yet, it's never too late. But why it's important to do it quickly as well is that when persons in the will have died, it becomes a problem. Sometimes the executors might pass on, the witnesses pass on, and the witnesses are important, because the witnesses have to sign documentation to say, yes, I saw the testator, the person who made the will, I saw that person sign the document. It's not somebody who forges signature. And sometimes you need to find the witnesses and you can't. So it can become problematic. So probate as fast as you can. And in writing your will, the witnesses should be somebody who persons can locate because they might be needed to sign documents, an affidavit of the attesting witness. So everybody in your will should be people you're really familiar with. Sometimes you might go into a lawyer's office and that's fine if it's a lawyer, because the lawyer will witness the will. I witness all my wills with another member of staff. So these are some of the things that we need to be aware of.
We have a caller for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask you to talk up a little louder for me. The technology. Yes,
Hello?
sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, I'm hearing.
You hearing me?
Yes.
I just like to ask a few questions here.
Yes.
I have a piece of land that my mother died leaving. But it's more than one of us, and we get it, go through the court and things like that. And they cut the road through it. The China Harbour cut a road through it, the highway. And they say we must surveyor the place before we can get paid for it. And we go through all the papers them and get a surveyor to surveyor the place. And the surveyor the place about 2 years now. And all me calling him for the first 3 months, me calling him answer and him say, you soon get a copy of the diagram and things like that. And after a while, me calling him up to now the man who answer him phone, all me calling him. Going about 2 years now.
All right. Do you have a pen?
Hello?
Do you have a pen? I want to give you a number to call.
Yeah, I have a pen here.
All right. 754.
The phone kind of low. I'm not hearing you so proper.
754.
754. 564.
No, 754.
I can't say I get it right.
All right, just hold. The technical operator.
7564.
Yes, hold the line, please, Ms. Brown. We'll just deal with this one off air.
Yes, Reverend.
Sure.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the added danger of variants, has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others. And on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight. And with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready. The stocks getting traded. Just that, don't you worry.
You're listening to Land Solutions with attorney at law Gloria Brown. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. That's 876-922-4113, 4114 and 4115. The text line for Land Solutions doubles as the WhatsApp number, 876 387 3183. 876 387 3183. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The website is landsolutionsja.com. landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the JN Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. And at that office, on a Thursday, you have the opportunity of engaging the either attorney at law Gloria Brown or her partner Calicia Findlay. They are we'll hear in a moment who is going to be at the office on Thursday. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Who'll be doing service on Thursday, Ms. Brown?
I will be there, Dervan.
Okay, good. Over to you once again.
Thank you, Dervan. So Dervan just told you I'll be in Ocho Rios this Thursday, so between 10 and 1 is a good time, but I'd prefer if you call us before to make an appointment, because sometimes you might want to come and there are things that you do not have. For example, you want to get a title, but you don't have a survey diagram. When you come into the office with a survey diagram and you want a title, I can start immediately. I think the listener is still holding for me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Hello?
As I was saying, I said, the man who surveyed the place, up to now, don't collect any money to survey the place. So I want to know if I can get a different surveyor to survey the place, because I'm calling him not answering. But
All right. So what you could do, just reach out to the number I gave you and ask them to call him to see if he did the survey.
Hello?
Just call the number that I just sent to you and ask them to contact the surveyor for you to see if he did the survey.
Okay, ma'am.
If he didn't do it, start with somebody else. But I would love for you to find out if he did it before you start with somebody else. All right,
yeah, that is what I want to know, you know?
Yes, all right. And thank you so much
for
how
my papers go through and them say the only way we can get here to the land, they have to get it severe. I'm called the man to severe from 2000
just told you to do. All right? Just do what I asked you to do. Sure. Bye-bye. The numbers to call 922-411-325. And the text line is 387-3183. And as the listener was just talking about, what the listener was saying is that he has land, but the new highway going to the east has passed through the land and he needs to be compensated. So this is something that everybody should realize, and we see highways going up different places. I've said on this program before that I'm told that the Lindsay bypass, which was done many, many years ago, even now the government is holding money for persons. Because even if the highway should pass through your property, if you don't have a title, they are not going to pay you. Because suppose, for example, you say this land is mine and they pay you. And then your brother comes and say, hey, but it's mine. And the sister comes and say, but I have a share. What's going to happen? When you have a title now for that property, then whoever has the title will be paid. And then let the others, let the persons, they will have to share the money, or let the court decide what is to happen. So you know that the highway is coming to Clarendon, to St. Mary, to Portland, to St. Thomas. Get your title now. Survey the land now. Because a lot of times it's after the highway has gone through that you try to get a title and then you can't find your boundary again because the highway has disturbed everything. You don't even know where your land was. That's the same issue we have with bauxite land too. Bauxite takes over your property. They say we're not going to give you a title, the payer for the land if you don't have a title, and you can't find the land again because it's one massive mined out area. Which is what Khaleesi and I have been saying to you every week: get your land surveyed and titled. Extremely important. Get your property surveyed and titled so you can claim your rights when anybody, any agency, any state agency could, because any state agency could say, we want to acquire this property for land development, for road improvement. There's very little you can do about it, or for bauxite mining. But you can get compensation if you have documentation. It's not good enough to say it's my mother's land or my grandmother's land or they gave it to me. You need to have a registered title in order to be compensated. My mother bought a piece of land from a man, and it is in my mother's name. Before he died in the tax office, before the gentleman died, we went to the tax office, we surveyed it, and he did a subdivision. So what we want, I would need to know what parish your mom is in. Because now that you have it surveyed, you have a subdivision. I don't know if the gentleman has a title, and maybe he does. So you could always go to a lawyer, and the lawyer could do what we call a vesting to get the title for your mother. So even though the gentleman has died, that won't stop you from getting your title. If he has died and you paid all the money, you can still get your title. You can get your title much easier. If you did not pay all the money, your lawyer can pay the balance of the money into the accountant general's department, and the accountant general will give a receipt. And that receipt will be evidence that you have paid for the land. So even though some money is owing, you can show that you have paid the rest into the accountant general. And if it's just a little that is owing, you can always say, well, I've had to use it. Suppose you have to use it to survey the land, and it wasn't your responsibility, or to pay the transfer tax on some duty, or to pay the lawyer, and it's enough to cover. Then you could use that evidence to show that you have spent the balance of the money in order to help you to secure a title. So all is not lost because the person you have bought it from has died. But it's important to deal with these things quickly. So you buy a piece of land, move towards getting a title right now before the person you have bought it from dies. Because when the person dies, it becomes a little bit more problematic. Numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. And also remember, you can send an email to gloria@landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. And I want to say hello to Mr. D. McNish over there in USA, who I know is listening to the program. There are so many persons abroad, so many persons at home who listen to this program. And I think Land Solutions has really changed the landscape in Jamaica in terms of knowledge. So many of my clients, when they come into office, they are so knowledgeable and so proud how knowledgeable they are. They come, they know what they are to do, they know the position, they know that it's a joint tenancy on the type, they know it's a tenancy in common. They understand the terms. And that is what it is. That's how we wish Jamaicans were educated in every single sphere of life, in terms of medicine, in terms of law, in terms of everything. Because we cannot become a first world nation with the amount of ignorance that we have. And it's the same ignorance that we are seeing in relation to the vaccine as well. So we want to educate our people, because knowledge is power. And for first world, we need first world knowledge of a person. And that's what we are finding in Jamaica now in terms of land law. Because so many persons have learned, so many persons understand, so many persons are the village lawyer in the community, and person might feel that that's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. In my time, when I was a child, we had persons like my father in community who understood things, not having formal education, but could guide other persons. And there's a gap in a lot of communities with that generation. I don't know if they never did well enough to pass on the baton, or they did too well, and their children have now left these communities. So there is a gap. So the aim of this program is to educate persons, so persons have the knowledge. Where you see somebody going wrong in relation to land, you can say, hey, that's not how it is done. That's the aim, and I think Khaleesi and I have been trying our best to fulfill that mandate, to educate the average Jamaican in relation to land, because the reality is that land is one of the biggest investments we're going to make in our lifetime. There's hardly anything we're going to buy more expensive than the land and put up the house on it. So it's important that we have the necessary knowledge. And I want to be...
Sorry, when you're through, a a caller waiting on the line.
Please go ahead, Dervan. Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the lawyer.
Yes.
A question for you. If
good.
Please
talk a little louder for me. The technology is beating me a bit today.
My land, which my daughter used to borrow money to build a house. I
can hardly hear you.
Title to her now.
I'm going to beg you to shout for me.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you better.
You're not hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
So I was asking if they're holding the title because she has a mortgage with them, could I go ahead and transfer the property to her?
And you're taking off your name?
Yes, I could probably add her. So I was thinking of adding her.
Yes, you can add her freely. The mortgage company will allow a lawyer to borrow the title to put her name on. Yes.
Okay.
The mortgage company will allow that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, no problem at all. My pleasure. Yes, so the listener wanted to know if she, even though she has a mortgage on her title, she could add her child, and yes, you can. The lawyer will just borrow the title from the mortgage company and give an undertaking to the mortgage company to return the title to them. The lawyer will prepare the transferring from the mother to the mother and the child. And will also do something we call a consent of mortgagee. The lawyer will prepare that for the mortgage company to sign to say, yes, we are giving consent to this child being added to the title. And then that will take effect. So it's not a troublesome thing where it's unlikely that the mortgage company will say no, unless the child is, which I failed to ask, or unless the child is under 18. They're reluctant to add the child if the child is under 18. The number is to call 922-4112-25.
Ready for you again, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello?
Not sure what's happening there. I think we lost that one. Sorry about that.
Okay, Dervan. Thank you so much. So I'm encouraging persons, as the client said earlier, in terms of adding the children. I said week before last that a warm gift is better than a cold one. So it's better to keep them while you're alive. But of course, I've said before on numerous programs that can have its own challenges. Sometimes I was just reading something on the weekend, as a matter of fact, it was a Jamaican case. So that it was somebody in America who transferred a property to a child, and the child gave her a notice and kicked her out. No, it was in England. Gave her a notice and kicked her out of the property, even though she gave the child as a gift. So these are things we need to know our children. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
You're listening to Land Solutions with attorney at law Gloria Brown. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line for Land Solutions, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183. The Land Solutions website is landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne, upstairs, shop 6. Attorney at law Gloria Brown will be on duty this Thursday, sometime between 10 and 1. You're advised to call ahead, make an appointment, call ahead. The numbers to reach the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950, or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. As Dervan just told you, the numbers to call 922-411-325. And the email gloria@landssolutionsja.com. Please also remember you can send me an email gloria@landssolutionsja.com or a text message at 876-387-3183. A text message. I have a home and I have 3 children. Two of their names are on the title. Can I make a will for the third to get my share if I die before her? I would need to know if you are joint tenant or tenant in common with the 2 children. If you are a joint tenant with the 2 children, you can't will your share unless you die last. So your will would have to say, if my children should die before me, the 2 children, then you would give your share. But so you see the problem. So if you want this other child to get your share, what I would advise you to do is to add this child's name to the title with your share. And that even if you are a joint tenant with the other 2, you'd become a tenant in common now, and this child could get your 1/3. But it's important. If you are a tenant in common on the title now, though, with the other 2 children, then you can will your share. Let me say that again. When persons are joint tenants, even if somebody should will their share to somebody else, the only way that person would get it is if the person making the will died last. Because when persons are joint tenants, whoever lives the longest will own the entire property. So John and Mary are joint tenants, and John makes a will willing his share to his daughter, and John dies first. There's nothing for the daughter to get. Everything will belong to Mary. If John and Mary are tenants in common and John makes a will to his daughter, then when John dies, the daughter will get John's share because Mary will not get John's share because they are tenants in common. So whether or not you can make a will to give this third child your share will depend on whether or not you and this child you and the other 2 children are tenants in common or joint tenants. What happens if your building plan can't be found at the parish council for over 2 years, since over 2 years? What I would advise you to do, because these parish councils, this is a constant problem, where the parish councils will tell you we can't find the plan, and what they're really saying to you, too bad, that's your problem. You might just have to get somebody to get a draftsman to draw a new plan for you and submit it to the parish council and get it passed again, because it doesn't make sense for you to be wasting your time because you might need it for something. So I would advise you to get somebody to do a new plan and get it passed again. And again, especially persons in developments in what we call housing schemes, places like Portmore, you are going to add a room to your house, you need to get a building plan drawn and get it passed through the Portmore Municipal Corporation or through the Municipal Corporation or parish council in your region, in your parish. Because if you want to sell the house and anything needs to be done, you're going to need to show that you got approval for the addition. So even if you have done the addition already, it's not too late. You can go and get somebody now to draw a plan as is and get it passed. I'm working with 2 persons. The woman died 2008 and the man died 2010. Now I am at the estate and no one is helping me to maintain it. I'm not sure what you're asking me. Because what you're saying that no one is helping you to maintain it. Because if these persons had relatives or made wills, then their beneficiaries can come and claim. They could even ask you to, they could even sue you to say you should have been paying rent from the people died. So maintaining it, so a lot of time persons say I need money for keep and care and for maintenance, but persons could say, but hey, what maintenance have you done? You should be paying rent so and so per month. So these are things that we have to be so careful of, and be aware of. That sometimes when you're asking for money for staying there, somebody might just be asking you for money for rent. So these are some of the challenges, which is why I'm begging persons to make the wills. Because sometimes you have a property and you really want this child who has been looking about you all this time, who maybe was not your child, but a child you raised, to get the property. But you have not made a will. because you keep saying to persons, oh, when we die, nobody can trouble you. I'm begging persons, don't take that from anybody. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you're the wife, when you die is yours, or nobody can trouble you. What's going to stop them from troubling you? Even if the person died and you are the wife, the person has children, they don't make a will. If they have children, half of it is yours, the wife, and half will belong to the children, no matter if they never did anything for the parent over the years. So it's not good enough for a person to give you, or even to give you a title before they die, and person comes to you, I'm the one with the title. That doesn't mean a thing. You're just holding on to a piece of paper, not a legal interest in property. So stop this word of more business and this thing to say nobody can trouble you, nobody can disturb you. They can. And most likely these days they will. So write it down. Write it down. Put it in writing. My dad passed suddenly in 1987 while I was only 22 years old. Ever since my birth, including the whole community knows that this piece of land is mine. The very same thing I'm saying. When I was 22, everybody since my birth, including the whole community, know that this piece of land is mine. But Daddy should write it down. I always said to the clients, I can't put the whole community in an envelope and send to title's office. They need proof. Any gift of land must be in writing. But I'm not too sure about your situation. But what I would advise you to do is that he died 87. Well, if you have been exercising control over it from 87, then it's yours. But it's yours not because everybody knows that it's yours, but because you have been exercising some control, paying the taxes, bushing it, have a house on it. So what I would advise you to do is to survey it and contact us so we can assist you in getting a title. But I need people to stop talking about people dying suddenly. Write down the will. It's an excuse that most of us make when we come to save. As long as they reach 18, write a will. We need to get into the culture of writing it down. We are people with a culture of talk, but not a culture of writing, and we need to write it down so we can make it offers more certainty. It makes things more certain, cause less problems. I'm purchasing a house and neither me nor the vendor has an original sale agreement, only a photocopy. How can I get the title? Neither the vendor. None of you have an original agreement, just a photocopy. I'm not sure what is happening there. Why you just have a photocopy of the agreement? Was there an attorney who dealt with it? But if you can't find the original and the vendor is alive, just get a new one done over. You can use the same old date. If it was stamped already at the stamp office, you can get a lawyer to get the stamp office to stamp it again. The lawyer will just do an indemnity to the stamp office to say that they will indemnify the stamp office if in case the duties were not paid, but the document will be there to show the duties paid and get it stamped over again. So get the person to do over a new agreement for you. And you can even staple that old one at the back just to show what has happened. And then move on. But please act as fast as you can on the matter before you have more problems. My father died leaving a will for a piece of land. It was not administered on. No, our mother died. What can we do? I'm not sure who your father willed it to. If your father willed it to your mother and mother has died, then you could just go and administer mother's estate, or you can go and deal with it too. You can go and deal with that, administer daddy's estate and mom's estate, so you can get the property. And I noticed this is in St. Thomas as well. The same gentleman with the highway earlier, so not sure if it's passing through this property, but I'm going to ask you to get mom's death certificate, get dad's death certificate, survey the property, go to a lawyer, and the lawyer will assist you to get a title for the property. My father died leaving 9 of us and our mother from 1994. He did not leave a will. My niece went and surveyed the land trying to get it in her name and my mother's name. What can we do to stop her? You need to get an attorney. I'm not sure if there's a title for the land where you could put a caveat to block it, but you need to have a discussion with your mother because your father left the property. Then there's nothing for your niece. Your mother is to get a half, and the 9 children is to get the other half of the property. So you need to go and get an attorney to deal with the matter, to write to your niece, to write to your mother, and to have it properly dealt with. And it seems as if your father never made a will, which is part of the challenge, which is why we're encouraging persons to make it, because a lot of children have lost out, have not been able to get what is rightfully theirs, because nothing was done in writing. It's my will day. My guardian died. They made a will leaving a part of their dwelling for me, but because I wasn't signed, they say it is not valid. Because it wasn't signed, they say it's not valid. I'm paying the taxes from 2000. Because the will wasn't signed. If the will is not signed, it's not valid, and that is correct. Or if it is signed only by one witness, it is not valid. But because you have been paying the taxes from 2000, it's now 2021, then you could move towards getting a title for that property. So you could survey it and then talk back to us, and we'll assist you to get a title, not because the gentleman willed it to you, but because you have been there for such a long time. So remember, it doesn't make sense for you to have a will where it's typed up and pretty and it's not signed. It's important for the will to be signed for it to be valid. If it's not signed, even though it's beautifully typed up and done up, it's not valid. If it is not signed by the parties. The numbers to call 922-411225, and the text line is 387-3183.
Caller waiting for you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Brown.
Yes, sir.
Question I have to ask: the property concerned.
I'm going to ask you to talk a little louder for me. I'm having a challenge today.
My mother and father have passed.
Can you talk a little louder?
Tenant. And as far as I'm aware...
Sir, please go a little louder for me.
As far as I'm aware...
Sorry, I don't think he's hearing you either. Sir, one moment, please. We're having issues. Just hold the line, please. Take it back for a moment, please, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon, sir.
No, we're still trying to work out that situation.
Okay, Dervan. When you're up on a break, just remind the listeners I'm in Ocho this Thursday between 10 and 1.
Yes.
And you can give me a call in my office to make an appointment. My office number is 908-1950 or 908-3518. I know today is the day for the phones to give trouble.
We can't blame what's happening with Facebook and all the others.
Yes, but sometimes one will cough and the other one will catch a cold.
True. That happens too. But we're trying to at least.
Yes, so we're up on the break, so maybe we could see it after the break, Dervan.
Sure, no problem.
Yes, it's a land solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Are you an exporter, a micro, small, or medium-sized enterprise engaged in primary production or manufacturing? Do you want to learn more about the incentives available to the productive sectors? Then join the Jamaica Customs Agency and other entities for an online public forum on incentives and productive inputs relief on Thursday, October 14, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, under the theme Incentives and Productive Inputs Relief. Who stands to benefit? Log on at www.jacustoms.gov.jm to register and take your business to the next level. That's the Jamaica Customs Agency's CCC online series. Click, connect, and converse with Customs, October 14 from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. This is a forum you should not miss. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the added danger of variants, has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point, our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others, and on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight, and with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready. Cause stocks getting traded. Just said, don't you worry. Looking in the positive.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us on today's edition of Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4115. Right. A different mix of numbers because we're shifting around just to make sure that we can have clearer communication between the callers and Attorney at Law Gloria Brown, who is on one of the lines, right? And so we'll give you the numbers for the lines that are available: 876-922-4112-4. So that's 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. And I believe there's a caller online as well, same caller we were trying to get on earlier on. Over to you once again, Attorney at Law Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Attorney at Law Gloria Brown. Are you hearing me now?
Good afternoon.
Are you hearing me?
I'm still having the challenge. Can you speak as loudly as you can?
I just heard Dervan Malcolm quite plainly. I don't know what's wrong.
I'm sorry, Dervan, but I'm not hearing.
All right. Well, we'll have to try and fix that off air again.
All right, Dervan. Thank you so much.
Right. So while that's happening, let's remind the listeners this is Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call. We'll do a bit of a sure line for you. The text line for Land Solutions, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. And so, right, so we'll give you the other numbers once again, 876-922-4113 to 5. 876-922-4113 to 5. And let's try with the caller again as well. Ms. Brown?
Yes, Dervan, I'm here.
Over to you once again.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again, Mrs. Brown. Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm barely hearing you, but go ahead.
Oh, my gosh.
Speak as loud as you
can. I'm calling on 922-4114.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes. I'm a lone survivor. My father and mother and my two siblings have passed. And And now, I don't know, my question to you, where would I stand? Because I know my father predeceased my mother, and then she made a will of which one of my siblings was the lone executor.
And sir, you're still too low for me to really hear you very well. I know you're not. I think we're just having telephone challenges. So I'm going to ask Adrian to just take the number for the caller and I'll call him back. Now, I must apologize to my listeners this afternoon that we're having challenges in hearing you. Remember, I'll be in Uterus this Thursday between 10 and 1. So please give me a call. You can call me on my cell phone 387-3183. That's the WhatsApp line as well if that comes back. Or you can call in my office 908-1950 or 908-3518. So we can give some assistance to you as best we can in getting the title, in sorting out whatever you need sorting out. Suppose I'm building behind my mom. Do I have to get it registered or what? Just go ahead and build. It's never a good idea to build on family land. It's not a good idea to build upstairs your mother's house. I've had requests like those, and these things don't usually turn out too well. Do not build behind your mother unless you can get a title for the piece behind, and I will advise you to get the title before you start building. When you build on land that is not yours, then the house is hardly yours. You run into problems. When you build on top of your mother's house, when there's a problem, how are you going to get that building down? It's not a good idea. Unless your mother is going to give you the entire property. Or unless a surveyor tells you, or you apply to the parish council and they tell you can do a strata where you can get a title for the upstairs, like an apartment, and your mom can get a title for the downstairs. Those are things you need to explore before building. But as I've always said, it's easy for me to say these things, because I don't have the challenges that many of my listeners might have, in that you have nowhere else to build. You can't afford to buy a piece of land, especially if it's in Kingston. But I'm asking you to get these things sorted out. If you're going to build behind your mother, at least make sure your name is on the title, so you have some amount of protection. Because sometimes the worst wars that we have are family wars. It's not the two strangers, but it's the mother and the child and the brothers and the sisters. So I ask persons to please be careful how you do these things. My child's father died when she was 17. I don't know if I read this a while ago. He left a will, but he did not leave anything for her. What can I do? I would advise you to talk to the administrator general. If the child probably is over 18 now, so you could get an attorney, because even if he made a will, the child could still make an application under what we call the Inheritance Act to say no provision was made for her. And the court could vary the will to make provision for the child. But in these things, we have to act quickly. Don't just sit on it. Act as fast as you can. And you can make an application to say that provision was not made for your minor child, and the court can make provision for the child, especially the person died leaving substantial assets. Well, we are having challenges in relation to the program, in relation to the telephone, so I will not tell you the numbers. I just encourage you this afternoon. Two things. Make your wills. Survey your property. Survey no. Sometimes if you can't afford to look about the title, have a survey diagram under your belt. Because sometimes it's very good proof that you are the owner of the property.
Ms. Brown, let's see if we can get in another one before time runs out.
Thank you, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Hi, Ms. Brown. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're loud and clear, sir. Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Very well.
Yeah, my mother and father have a property. Both of them died, but the paper them destroyed. The title and the diagram.
Yes.
So what should I do?
All right. Are you paying taxes?
Say it again, ma'am.
Do you have any tax paper, even an old one?
Yes, I pay the tax.
All right. Take the tax paper to the title's office and let them do a search for you to find a copy of the title.
Okay, but like they die now, it's in their name, you know, and we the siblings now. What should I do? Take it out same way?
Yes, because you need to get a copy of the title for the lawyer to sort it out for you.
Okay, Miss Brown.
Yes, do that. And you can even go to the survey department and let them help you to find a copy of the diagram.
All right.
And both in Kingston, both buildings are on this, both places are at the same place.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it's a public document. They have to give it to you as long as they have it.
All right.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yes, so our numbers are back. 922-411-325. If my brother is paying taxes for his land and my land, can he claim my piece of land? No. Taxes cannot make anybody claim land. I said it on the program a number of times because your brother is paying the taxes, but the property cannot let him get your piece. Yours is yours, but you need to help him to pay it though, you know. It's unfair for him alone to be paying it. But make sure that you occupy your property. And remember that occupying property doesn't mean you live there, you know. It means that you have fenced it and you go there every now and then and bush it and you put some goat on it and you have planted a few mango trees and ackee and whatever. And that's another thing I want to encourage my listeners in the last few minutes. Utilize the land. Even go under, you know how Jamaica is, even go under apple tree, apple season just start and root up some young suckers and plant them on your land. Some coffee suckers, some mango suckers, even if they don't want to bear. Just something to show that the property is yours. Utilize it, pack it up with fruit trees. Do something, go there every now and then and bush it. Pay the tax. If you can't even afford all the taxes, pay something every year. It's not the amount you pay, but the fact that you have been paying consistently every year. Do something to exercise some control over your land. What am I saying to my listeners this afternoon? I'm encouraging you to take the vaccine. Stop listening to all the stories people telling you. Just listen to the stories of the number of people who are dying. And recognize that if we continue like this as black people, this virus is going to kill us out. Other persons are looking to take their third vaccines, and we are trying to talk all kind of conspiracy theory as to what and what is in the vaccine. I'm begging persons, look after your health. Dead persons cannot take vaccines. Or the type that dead person takes is not the type that we really want. Make your wills, sort out your properties, get your titles, survey your land, get a call a surveyor, look in the directory for commission the land surveyor, get one to survey your little piece of the rock and hold on to your diagram when you can afford to. Or even as soon as you get the diagram, call us. We'll work with you to get a title. When you have a title, you have the ultimate document to show that you are the owner. Remember, you can give me a call in my office, 908-1950 or 908-3518. Also, remember that I'll be in Ocherius, in my Ocherius office this Thursday, so I ask you to please give me a call. I want to say thanks to Dervan, thanks to Adrian, and thanks to you, my listeners, who continue to support Land Solutions. Have a good day.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30. The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the added danger of variants, has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others, and on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight. And with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. got to be ready, cause stock's getting traded. Just that, don't you worry. I've got a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. But I can't turn back. My heart is fixed, my mind's made up. No, I'll never stop in my faith. We'll see it through. I've got to tell you.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. On a day when Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp essentially crashed and still struggling to come back up. Let's see how that goes. For what it's worth, especially for social media lovers, Twitter is still up and running. YouTube is still up and running. In fact, we're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel. And we're greeting a couple of our, well, let's run down the line of viewers on YouTube. Simon, it could also be come on, CMON. Everything is down, Dervan, says Simon or come on. Bawling buckets of tears through the use of these emojis. Good afternoon to you, Simon, or if you call yourself come on, either come on or Simon. Garnet Williams, good afternoon to you too. All is indeed well. We're giving thanks. Miss Kay in St. Catherine, good afternoon. Vincent Bennett, hi. Miss Kay in St. Catherine says, hello, Dervan. Have a happy and a safe Monday. Hello also to the listeners today. She says, it's beginning to rain here in Stony Hill. Stay dry in wet Stony Hill, Miss Kay in Miss Kay, St. Catherine. Shelley King says, no Facebook transmission today. Obviously not, Shelley King. Miss Kay, St. Catherine says, no Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp. It's awfully quiet. Maybe we can get some rest from social media. Simon says, no Facebook, Dervan, everything down and out. Shelley King says, Dervan, Facebook, and Instagram are down. Simon says, Twitter is up and running. Miss Kay, St. Catherine says, Twitter is up. Stacey Ann Fagan says, yes, Mr. Malcolm, surprising. All Facebook-owned platforms, WhatsApp, Insta, Facebook, down after the whistleblower came out yesterday and told CNN about Facebook algorithm purposely spreading misinformation. Errol in New Jersey says, good day, Dervan and the listening world, if... followed by a few dots. Miss K. St. Catherine says, hello at Errol Cross. KMDMD says, thank goodness Facebook never buy out Google. Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada says, good afternoon to you too. Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. She says, hey, Dervan, with Facebook and WhatsApp down, it must be frustrating to those who rely on it. Instagram down as well. Twitter is running well thus far, says Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas says, good afternoon. Hope all is well. Facebook is down. Sylvia Cameron says, hey, Dervan. Hey, Sylvia Cameron. And Simon says, whichever is fine, Dervan. Simon or come on. Right. Thank you very much for your messages on YouTube. That's where it's at today because Facebook is not happening today. Let's give you an update here from the Health Ministry's website. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has reassured Jamaicans that there are adequate supplies of the AstraZeneca vaccine in country, while urging people who are due their second dose to get the jab. We're not out of AstraZeneca vaccines. We have some 390,180 in stock. And so people, and in particular those who are due their second dose, need not panic. So that's the government through the Ministry of Health telling us they have 390,180 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine ready for the arms of first and or second doses. And let's see. The ministry, we're told, continues its efforts to achieve a 65% vaccination target for the population by March 2022. We'll see how that goes. Let's take a quick look back at where we're coming from, as in a look back at last year's numbers. According to the Gleaner, last year, this time, the total number of confirmed cases, let's make the distinction here between the, not seeing in terms of 24 hours, total number of recovered, no, total number of active. Right, at the time, last year, this time, we had 6,795 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Fast forward to 2021 and 6,795 confirmed cases. The current number is 84,914. So whereas last year, this time we had 6,795 confirmed cases of COVID-19, a year later, and we're looking at 84,914 cases of COVID-19. Within the last 24 hours, there have been 213 newly confirmed cases. 213 newly confirmed cases within the last 24 hours. The total number of recoveries last year, this time, recoveries stood at 2,345. 2,345 recoveries last year, this time. Fast forward to 2021, and we're at 53,404 recoveries. 53,404 recoveries. The total number of deaths from COVID-19 last year, this time, the number was 119. 119 COVID-19 deaths last year, this time. Fast forward to 2021, and sadly, we're looking at 1922, 1,922 people dying from COVID-19. 13 of them newly confirmed COVID-19 deaths. So between the 18th of August and the 2nd of October, tests were conducted to confirm whether these patients had died from COVID-19 or other causes, it's now official that these 13 whose deaths were investigated between August 18 and October 2, 2021, these 13 have been confirmed as COVID-19 related deaths. Condolences to all those who have lost loved ones to this dreaded pandemic. As far as our hospital situation is concerned, last year, this time, 151 patients were in hospital on account of COVID-19. Fast forward to 2021, and we now have 571 people in hospital due to COVID-19. 571 people in hospital due to COVID-19, whereas last year we had 151. We wish those in hospital a speedy recovery and all the very best. Total number of active cases last year, this time, 4,239. Fast forward to 2021, we have 29,006 active cases of COVID-19. And in terms of the parish, we'll leave that there for now. You can learn more and go through the statistics on your own if you so desire by visiting moh.gov.jm. moh.gov.jm. So we're going to move on, but not totally, because I came across an article this morning with respect to COVID-19, and we found it to be quite informative and instructive, and we're going to share the article published by the Washington Post. Let's just confirm that. Published by the Washington Post. And the headline is, "In Portugal, there is virtually no one left to vaccinate." In Portugal, there is no one left to vaccinate. And again, we're just... All right, let's take the break and come back with the story in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. The Caribbean Maritime University, an ISO certified institution, offers Bachelor of Science degrees in cruise shipping, logistics, engineering, marine tourism, port management, security administration, and management, among others. For further information, contact them 876-924-8150 or 924-8175 or email info@cmu.edu.jm.
Are you an exporter, a micro, small, or medium-sized enterprise engaged in primary production or manufacturing? Do you want to learn more about the incentives available to the productive sectors? Then join the Jamaica Customs Agency and other entities for an online public forum on incentives and productive inputs relief on Thursday, October 14, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 12 noon under the theme Incentives and Productive Inputs Relief. Who stands to benefit? Log on at www.jacustoms.gov.jm to register and take your your business to the next level. That's the Jamaica Customs Agency's Triple C online series. Click, connect, and converse with Customs, October 14 from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. This is a forum you should not miss. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is urging Jamaicans to get vaccinated against COVID-19 with the AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson vaccines currently available. The next shipment of Pfizer vaccines will be given only to children 12 years and older and to those persons who are due their second dose. To register to become vaccinated, members of the public are encouraged to make their appointments online at moh.gov.jm or call the vaccination call center at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683.
Well, there is love.
Here is the story published by the Washington Post. The headline once again, in Portugal, there is virtually no one left to vaccinate. Portugal is among the most highly vaccinated countries in the world. In fact, some sources are going as far as to say that Portugal does in fact have the world's highest vaccination rate. Let's continue with the story. So, Portugal is among the most highly vaccinated countries in the world. Vice Admiral Enrique Gouveia e Melo, who led the campaign, said there was a key to his success. Keep politics out of it. The key to success to Portugal's vaccination drive, the man who led Portugal's vaccination drive was not a politician, apparently. He was an army man. He is Vice Admiral Enrique Gouveia e Melo. Enrique, Henrique, Gouveia or Gouveia, 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 Melo, Melo with one L, Melo, and Vice Admiral Enrique Gouveia e Melo. He led Portugal's vaccination campaign. He led Portugal's vaccination drive. And having said all that he said, the highlight is where he says the key to Portugal's success was that they kept politics out of it. They kept politics out of it. Let's read the story in its entirety. Portugal's healthcare system was on the verge of collapse. Portugal's healthcare system was on the verge of collapse. Hospitals in the capital, Lisbon, were overflowing, and the authorities were asking people to treat themselves at home. In the last week of January, nearly 2,000 people died as the virus spread. The country's vaccine program was in a shambles. So the government turned to Vice Admiral Enrique Gouveia e Melo, a former submarine squadron commander, to right the ship. R-I-G-H-T, right the ship. In other words, steer the ship in the right direction. 8 months later, remember this was January this year. In January this year, the last week of January this year, hold on, maybe you missed it. Portugal's healthcare system was on the verge of collapse. Hospitals in the capital, Lisbon, were overflowing, and the authorities were asking people to treat themselves at home. In the last week of January 2021, nearly 2,000 people died as the virus spread. The country's vaccine program was in shambles. So the government of Portugal turned to Vice Admiral Enrique Gouveia e Melo, a former submarine squadron commander, to right the ship. 8 months later, Portugal is among the world's leaders in vaccinations. 8 months later, Portugal is among the world's leaders in vaccinations, with roughly 86% of its population of 10.3 million fully vaccinated. We have a population here in Jamaica of approximately 2.7, 2.8 million people. In Portugal, they have a population of 10.3 million people. In about 8 months, Portugal became one of the world's leading countries in vaccinations, with roughly 86% of the population vaccinated. 86% of the 10.3 million people in Portugal fully vaccinated. Can we let's spell it out even further. Let's spell it out even further. So we're looking at a significant, a dramatic shift in the numbers in Portugal. Remember where they're coming from. The hospitals on the verge of collapse. In fact, Portugal's healthcare system was on the verge of collapse. Hospitals in the capital, Lisbon, were overflowing, and the authorities were asking people to treat themselves at home. In the last week of January, nearly 2,000 people died as the virus spread. Portugal's vaccine program was in shambles. So what did the government do? They turned to Vice Admiral Enrique Gouveia, or Gouveia, Gouveia, Enrique, and that Enrique pronounced without the H but spelt with the H, Henrique, Enrique Gouveia e Melo, a former submarine squadron commander, was called upon to lead Portugal's vaccination drive. 8 months later, Portugal is among the world's leaders in vaccinations, with roughly 86% of its population of 10.3 million fully vaccinated. Portugal, with a population of 10.3 million, has managed within 8 months to vaccinate 86% of its population. About 98% of all those eligible for vaccines, meaning anyone over 12, have been fully vaccinated, according to Admiral Gouveia e Melo. 98% of all those eligible, keyword eligible, about 98% of all those eligible for vaccines, anyone over 12, that's the eligibility, anybody over 12. 98% of all those eligible for vaccines, meaning anyone over 12, have been fully vaccinated. Admiral Gouveia e Melo said, "We believe we have reached the point of group protection and nearly herd immunity. We believe we have reached the point of group protection, and nearly herd immunity. Things look very good. So what does that mean? Having that kind of vaccination coverage, 86% of 10.3 million people, 98% of all those eligible for vaccines, meaning anyone 12 and over being vaccinated. On Friday, that's Friday last Friday, Portugal ended nearly all of its coronavirus restrictions. As of last Friday, Portugal ended nearly all of its coronavirus restrictions. And there has been a sharp drop in new cases to about 650 a day. And vanishingly, says the story in the Washington Post, vanishingly few deaths. So deaths are getting less and less. And less people are contracting COVID-19. That's the story of Portugal. And there have been some follow-up stories. There have been some follow-up stories as well. Let's bring you to the most recent. Let's see. Right, Portugal set to reopen after vaccinating 85% of its adult population. And also Portugal has, well, we read that one. Portugal has nearly run out of people to vaccinate. And Portugal winding down military-led COVID team. Also, naval officer wins praise for Portugal's vaccine rollout. But the story doesn't end there. There's more. There is more. So many Western nations, fortunate enough to have abundant vaccine supplies, have seen vaccination rates plateau, flattened, leveled, with more than 20% of their populations still unprotected. So other governments are looking to Portugal for possible insights and are watching closely to see what happens when nearly every eligible person is protected. So Portugal is going to become the poster child right now. The scientists, the virologists, the epidemiologists, the immunologists, the infectious diseases specialists, they're all going to converge on Portugal right now to monitor what's happening there, to get some clues as to what might happen in their countries where they are rolling out vaccination programs all over. So let us see. The story cautions us, though, by saying false dawns in the coronavirus pandemic have been as common as new nightmare waves of infection. So Portugal could still see a setback as the Delta variant continues to spread globally. That remains to be seen. That's why they're going to be monitoring Portugal right now to see what happens now that almost all eligible people in Portugal are fully vaccinated. One moment, please.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
I've got a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. Said it's a hard road to travel, a rough way to go. But I can't turn back, my heart is fixed, my mind's made up. No, I'll never stop in my faith. Will see me through.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. ¿Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？10:01 A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, we're sharing the story of Portugal and their success in the fight against COVID-19, specifically with respect to their vaccine rollout. Here's the rest of the story. There have been worrying signs from Israel and elsewhere that protection offered by vaccines can fade over time. And a worldwide debate is raging over who should be offered booster shots and when. Portugal may soon start offering boosters to older people and those deemed clinically vulnerable. That's the word from Admiral Gouveia e Melo. But he was confident they could all be reached by the end of December. So having achieved what they have achieved now, Portugal is saying, you know what? Since we have 86% of our population fully vaccinated, let's go for the booster shots now, and let's do it. We've done 86% of 10.3 million people in 8 months. Well, what month are we in? October, November, December. Within 3 months or less, we will be able to offer booster shots to older people and those who are regarded as clinically vulnerable. And they're confident that they can reach that target come December. But for the moment, as bars and nightclubs buzz with life, infections dwindle and deaths plummet, the country's vaccination drive has succeeded, even after encountering many of the same hurdles that caused other countries to flounder. The same flood of misinformation about vaccines has filled the social media accounts of the Portuguese. So it's not that they were in a bubble where they didn't have access to the misinformation globally, swirling globally. Portugal got that misinformation as well, but they still managed to vaccinate 86% of their population. Portugal is run by a minority left-wing government, a reflection of its political divisions. And according to public opinion polls, there was widespread doubt about the vaccines when they first arrived. There was widespread doubt in Portugal about the vaccines when they first arrived. However, there was a most dramatic turnaround due in no small measure to the leadership of Admiral Gouveia e Melo. He has been credited with turning it around. What's his background? Admiral Gouveia e Melo has a background working on complicated logistical challenges in the military. Admiral Gouveia e Melo has a background of working on complicated logistical challenges in the military. He was named in February 2021 to lead the National Vaccination Task Force. Standing at 6 feet 3 inches, my goodness. Oh, I almost said I'm taller than him. No, I'm not. I am not actually. You just got me for a moment. I am 5'4". Last time I checked, 5'4". But for a moment there, I was thinking 6'3" being 5'3". I was about to say I'm actually taller. But anyway, standing 6 feet 3 inches, the Admiral made it a point to wear only his combat uniform in his many public and television appearances as he sought to essentially draft the nation into one collective pandemic fighting force. Did you hear that? Admiral Gouveia Imelo wore his combat uniform. Whenever you saw him, he was in his combat uniform. What's the enemy? The enemy is COVID-19. And that's a big problem globally in other countries where we don't see COVID-19 as the enemy. We see everybody else and everything else as the enemy. And while we are fighting each other, while we're busy fighting each other and tearing each other apart, COVID-19 is having a field day. And this military man, Admiral Gouveia Imelo, recognized that because they have their own divisions in Portugal. So he said, look here, well, first of all, the government obviously must be credited for identifying that they have a problem and for handpicking. Many are called, few are chosen. For handpicking Admiral Gouveia Imelo, a man with a background of working on complicated logistical challenges in the military. He was named in February of this year to lead Portugal's National Vaccination Task Force. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, and he made it a point to wear only his combat uniform in his many public and television appearances as he sought to essentially draft the nation into one collective pandemic fighting force. The enemy, they recognized in Portugal that the enemy is COVID-19, not their brothers and sisters. The enemy is COVID-19, and he was able to marshal the troops, in a manner of speaking, marshal the people of Portugal into one collective pandemic fighting force. The first thing is to make this thing a war, said Admiral Gouveia Imelo. The first thing is to make this thing a war on COVID-19, recalling how he approached the job. I use not only the language of war, but military language, he said. While politicians around the world have invoked a similar martial rhetoric, he said, it was critical to his success that he was widely seen as detached from politics. Did you hear that? The man credited with transforming Portugal's COVID-19 conditions as far as leading the vaccination of 86% of 10.3 million people is concerned. He is saying, while politicians around the world have invoked a similar martial rhetoric, in other words, they have used the same language in other countries, sort of military type rhetoric. But he said it was critical to his success that he was widely seen as detached from politics. He was widely seen as detached from politics. And that is being seen as key to the success in Portugal. The leader of the COVID-19 vaccination campaign was seen by the people of Portugal to be detached from politics. And that played a significant role in the buy-in that Admiral Gouveia e Melo got from the people of Portugal. They saw him as being detached from politics. The story goes on. He quickly assembled a team of some 36 people. A team of 36 people. That's about 36 people. That was his team, 36 people. He quickly assembled a team of some 36 people. Who made up the 36 people? Elite, E-L-I-T-E, elite military personnel. Elite, what does that word elite mean? Best. Best. Once again, many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. Admiral Gouveia chose the best. When you're in a war, you want your best people on the front lines. Your very best. So he quickly assembled a team of 36 people, about 36 people, led by elite military personnel, the best military personnel you can think of, you can assemble. Who were among them? Listen to this. Listen to the makeup of the team that led the team led by Admiral Gouveia. Was instrumental in Portugal's vaccination success. 36 people led by elite military personnel. Who are some of these people? Mathematicians, doctors, naturally, analysts, and strategic experts. Let's go over that again. Mathematicians, doctors, analysts, and strategic experts from Portugal's Army, Air Force, and Navy. About 36 people, led by elite military personnel, the best of the best, including mathematicians, doctors, analysts, and strategic experts from Portugal's Army, Air Force, and Navy. And so the question was asked of Admiral Gouveia, what can other countries do to bolster their own vaccination efforts? That's the question he's being asked now. What can other countries do to bolster their own vaccination efforts? The answer after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with the added danger of variants has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others, and on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight, and with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready. Cause stop getting treated. Just say, don't you worry. In the positive.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
I'll never stop in my faith. We'll see me. Help me somebody. Help me somebody. Somebody please. Get me right now.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. We've been sharing the story of Portugal's vaccination success here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And let's tell you the response from Admiral Gouveia Imelo to the question that he's now being asked: what can other countries do to bolster their own vaccination efforts? Admiral Gouveia did not hesitate to offer his best advice. Are you ready? The question: what can other countries do to bolster their own vaccination efforts? Admiral Gouveia's response: they need to find people who are not politicians. They need to find people who are not politicians. Again, his response to the question: what other countries can do to bolster their own vaccination efforts? Admiral Gouveia Imelo's response: they need to find people who are not politicians. They need to find people who are not politicians. The story doesn't end there. It goes on. Before the pandemic, Portugal was fortunate to have a robust national vaccination program. Before the pandemic, Portugal was fortunate to have a robust national vaccination program. The same could be said of Jamaica. Jamaica, for many decades, has been one of the leading countries when it comes to vaccination, or should we say that in the past tense, had been one of the leading countries when it came to vaccinations. Portugal had a similar history. Portugal was fortunate to have a robust national vaccination program. How did this robust national vaccination program come into being in Portugal? It grew out of Portugal's devastating experience battling polio. It grew out of Portugal's devastating experience battling polio, which was still affecting the country after Admiral Gouveia y Melo was born in 1960. We had polio issues in Jamaica as well and elsewhere in the world. Portugal had a devastating experience battling polio, which was still affecting the country after 1960. In fact, Admiral Gouveia y Melo recalled when the daughter of a family friend fell ill from the disease and the suffering that followed. Manuela Ivone da Cunha, a Portuguese anthropologist who has studied anti-vaccination movements, said that vaccine doubters and anti-vaxxers are in the minority in Portugal. Vaccine doubters and anti-vaxxers are in the minority in Portugal, and they are also less vocal. Vaccine doubters and anti-vaxxers are in the minority in Portugal, and they are also less vocal than they are in many other countries. Leonor Beleza, a former Portuguese health minister who is now the president of the Champalimod Medical Foundation, said Portugal's rollout clearly benefited from the discipline stemming from the nomination of a military officer. Portugal's rollout clearly benefited from the discipline stemming from the nomination of a military officer. He formulated a communications policy about what was happening that gave, hold on, slow this down. Admiral Gouveia y Melo formulated a communications policy about what was happening that gave credibility and trust. So that communication policy, formulating that communication policy was key to instilling credibility and trust. A communications policy formulated by this military officer. He formulated a communications policy about what was happening, a communications policy about what was happening that gave credibility and trust. As the task force devised the most efficient system to safely stream the most people through vaccination centers, they used troops to build confidence in the system. Once again, as the task force devised the most efficient, keyword there, efficient. In other words, the problem of having people lined up, and people will always have to wait when it comes to vaccinations. But 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, well, That was key. They knew that they had to keep the people moving so that even if the line is long, people must feel that their hope, the hope of those standing in line, is the pace at which people are moving forward in the line. That's where the hope came from. So people would be there waiting, and they may be a little tired, maybe a little uneasy about having to wait. But then every time they get into that mindset, they see people moving. The line is moving. The line is moving. Have you ever noticed in traffic, for those of us who drive, we're on a road where the traffic doesn't seem to be moving? What do some motorists do? They do a 360. They try to get out of there and get and find another route. There have also been scenarios where you are in traffic, but you don't feel so hopeless because the traffic is moving. You don't feel hopeless because the traffic is moving. The traffic is moving. And so that was clearly front and center of the task force in devising, notice the choice of words, the task force devised the most, use of the word most, efficient, the use of the word efficient, the task force devised the most efficient system to safely, keyword, did you hear that? There's another keyword, safely, safely, safely. So not people bungling up, because we seem to love to bungle up how we one another in Jamaica. Not bungling up. That kind of bundle, it cannot be that you're telling people to be physically distant or socially distant. And while they are waiting to be vaccinated, they are bungling like sardine. No. Well, sardine doesn't, it's the sardine tin when you open a sardine these days. A tin of sardine. It's not that tight at all anyway. But the point is, the task force in Portugal devised the most efficient system to safely stream the most people through inoculation centers. They devised the most efficient system to safely stream the most people through inoculation centers. In other words, they said, how can we get large numbers of people through our vaccination centers quickly? How can we get large numbers of our people through the vaccination centers efficiently? And they devised such a system, the most efficient system to safely stream the most people through the vaccination centers. What else did they do? They used troops to build confidence in the system. They used troops to build confidence in the system. So the military was out in numbers. People could see the vaccines were safe as soldier after soldier got the shots. So even that was in the public view, deliberately in the public view. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Who knows what you're allergic to? This is one of many important questions related to your health. Daisy Health Technology ensures that your complete medical history is available to the authorized medical professionals and during an emergency. For information on the Daisy Health Card, visit our website at www.daisy-health.com or call 888-429-5765. Ask your physician for the Daisy Health Card and sign up for free today.
It's the show that engages you with stimulating and intriguing discussions to spice up your night. It's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Where you may ask me a question, I may or may not answer.
Hear pertinent advice and share your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters. Get the answers you need for your burning questions. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
Look like she did love me to me. But me still, just she pushed me out, so do my best anyway.
That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, keeping your company Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. till midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
I gotta tell you, I'm all alone. This lonesome road I roam, I've got no love. Call my very own. Oh, the river gets deeper, the hills get steeper, and the pain gets deeper every day. I've got a hard road to travel and a rough way to go. Said it's a
Y ahora es en español. Son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:28. Tiens, TDN le. Wu Dien Cha A Shi Ba Fen. Wu Dien Cha A Shi Ba Fen. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you have had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. And parents and guardians, do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. Yeah, we know we have a call or two waiting. Bear with us, please. If we have to call you back, we'll call you back. We just need to finish this story. Please bear with us. We'll be happy to call you back. The story of Portugal's vaccination success here on both sides of the story. We got to the point where we were saying that the task force devised the most efficient system to safely stream the most people through inoculation centers. They used troops to build confidence in the system. How did they use the troops? Apart from being a part of the rollout, the vaccination rollout, they had the troops one by one getting their shots in front of everybody, in front for all the world to see. The soldiers kept going and taking their shots one by one. People could see the vaccines were safe as soldier after soldier got the shots. People could see the vaccines were safe as soldier after soldier got shots. At the same time, the task force made a point of showing doctors and nurses getting their shots as well. Other countries have done that. Remember the Jamaican in New York, first to be inoculated in America. Remember her? Yeah. So it has been tried by other countries. Why did it work in Portugal? It worked. the task force made a point of showing doctors and nurses getting their shots. But here is something here now. Some doctors and nurses in Jamaica have refused to take the jab. Some doctors and nurses here in Jamaica, not on any specific health grounds in terms of their health condition or situation, not on any religious grounds, but some other grounds. There are nurses and doctors in Jamaica who have decided not to take the shots, which in and of itself is it spells disaster. If you can have the very profession, members of the very professions that you're counting on to keep you safe and keep everybody safe and to safely administer vaccines, etc. Some of them are actually telling people don't take the vaccine. But in Portugal, the task force made a point of showing doctors and nurses getting their shots as well. So the people were seeing the soldiers lining up one by one, the doctors lining up one by one, the nurses lining up one by one. They were all taking the jab because they wanted to drive home the message of vaccine safety. Soldiers were taking it, doctors were taking it, nurses were taking it, police officers were taking it. So that was a feature of the vaccine campaigns in Portugal. Admiral Gouveia e Melo said the consistency of the message was critical. Key word there, consistency, 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 consistency. How many more times do we need to use that word? Consistency. Consistency. The consistency of the messaging. The consistency of the messaging. That's why whatever we think of Donald Trump's message as he campaigned almost or about 2 years before the election, make America great again. Messaging, consistency of messaging, make America great again. In communication, messaging is critical, and consistency in messaging. Consistency in messaging. We saw, even with the two major political parties in Jamaica, how they fared, not in the last election, the election before that one, where one party had a consistent message and the other one was all over the place. Consistency of messaging. Consistency of messaging was critical. Still, as the campaign moved on to younger age groups over the summer, with less than half of the public vaccinated, there were signs that resistance was building. So it wasn't all smooth sailing. Hold on, listen to this. Let's say it again. As the campaign moved on to younger age groups over the summer, with less than half of the public vaccinated, there were signs that resistance was building. Remember, we said that Portugal was not immune from misinformation and all the information that was out there. They were not immune from it. They got just as any other country in the world received in terms of misinformation. Right? So there were signs that resistance was building. But listen to the admiral now. Listen to the admiral who is accustomed to operating submarines and solving complex problems for the military. What did he say now? He said, in a submarine, the admiral said, you are in a slow ship trying to catch faster ships. In a submarine, the admiral said, are you listening to the wisdom? In a submarine, the admiral said, you are in a slow ship trying to catch faster ships. In a submarine, you are in a slow ship trying to catch faster ships. So what do? Here's the admiral again. You have to position yourself and be smart about how to do it. You have to position yourself and be smart. Positioning is key. How you position yourself, that is key. And the approach that you take, a smart approach, is necessary. You have to position yourself and be smart about how to do it. And seize the opportunity when it arrives. Seize the opportunity when it arrives. There's another expression, seize the moment. Seize the moment. There's another one, seize the day. Seize the opportunity when it arrives. But you can't seize the opportunity unless you are properly positioned and you are smart about it. So you properly position and you're smart about it. Once the opportunity comes, you grab it with both hands. You grab that opportunity with both hands. In July 2021, Admiral Gouveia Imelo seized such an opportunity. In July 2021, that's just a couple of months ago, Admiral Gouveia Imelo seized such an opportunity. What happened? Protesters were blocking the entrance to a vaccination center in Lisbon. Protesters were blocking the entrance to a vaccination center in Lisbon. What did the Admiral do? He put on his combat uniform and went there with no security detail. He put on his combat uniform and not an ounce of security, no sign of any security detail, the people who are supposed to protect him. He told them, leave me for some time. I'll be all right. There's a situation here. I am going to deal with it. Admiral Gouveia Imelo seized the opportunity. As the protesters were blocking the entrance to a vaccination center in Lisbon, he put on his combat uniform and went there with no security detail. Why? Because he recognized that the people protesting were not the enemy. They were not the enemy. They were not the enemy. The enemy was COVID-19. COVID-19. One moment, please.
I better tell you, I'm all alone.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Living in the positive,
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Troubles and danger for me.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5:14。5:14. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Right, quickly to the story. So the Admiral in July, Admiral Gouveia, protesters were blocking the entrance to a vaccination center in Lisbon. So he put on his combat uniform and went there with no security detail. I went through these crazy people, he said. They started to call me murderer, murderer. As the television cameras rolled, the Admiral calmly stood his ground. I said, the murderer is the virus. So while people were calling him murderer, he was saying to the people, the murderer is the virus. The true killer, he said, would be people who live like it is the 13th century without any notion of reality. I attempted to communicate in a very true and honest way. Hear what he did? I attempted to communicate in a very true and honest way about all doubts and problems. In other words, people would be uttering the problems, the doubts about the vaccine, etc. And he said he attempted to communicate in a very true and honest way about all the doubts and problems. But he said, look, but not everybody welcomed his approach. Not everybody welcomed his approach. So here's another perspective from same place in Portugal. We don't really have a culture of questioning authorities. So culture comes into play now. What is the culture of your country? We don't really have a culture of questioning authorities, said Laura Sanchez, a clinical psychologist who has criticized Portugal's mass vaccination rollout as too militaristic and called for it to exclude younger people. So here's a dissenting voice, Laura Sanchez, clinical psychologist, saying of the people of Portugal, we don't really have a culture of questioning authorities. And she thought that the rollout was too militaristic. Now, there are countries that have taken another tact, but they're still way behind. So it's a case of damned if you do and damned if you don't. But she says the vaccination rollout was too militaristic, and she called for it to exclude younger people. And the way he always, this is psychologist Laura Sanchez analyzing and sharing her thoughts on Admiral Gouveia's approach. She said, and the way he always presented himself in camouflage army suits, as if he was fighting a war. But that's what he said anyway. He says the war is against COVID-19. And in order to engender that mindset of fighting a war, because it's a war against COVID-19, so part of engendering that mindset is by putting on the full armor, not going halfway or partway, full armor. This is a war. So, right. So that is what he says. So you are right. Laura Sanchez, the clinical psychologist, is right. She's right. He always presents himself in camouflage army suits as if he was fighting a war, she says. But that's what he's fighting, a war. That's what he said. He's fighting a war. Together with the language used by the media, so this is Laura Sanchez, the clinical psychologist, coming in again here. She says, with the approach of Admiral Gouveia and combined with the language used by the media and the politicians, those elements contributed to a feeling of fear that also makes us more prone to obey and not to question. So that's the perspective of Laura Sanchez, a clinical psychologist. That's her side of the story. Still, the story, and this is from the Washington Post, the story we're reading, the public messaging campaign, including an aggressive television and media blitz, made steady progress. So they're pointing to another aspect of the success, another reason for the success. The public messaging campaign, including an aggressive, use of the word, aggressive television and media blitz. And those made steady progress. In the beginning, Admiral Gouveia Emelo said, we had some 40% who were unsure. In the beginning, we had some 40% who were unsure, Admiral Gouveia Emelo said. Now, according to polls, he said, only 2.2% do not want the vaccine. So those who initially didn't want the vaccine, that number was that was at 40%. They were unsure. 40% were unsure in the beginning. Now, according to polls, only 2.2% do not want the vaccine. Only 2.2% do not want the vaccine. As he stepped down from the task force this week, the admiral said he felt the country was on a good course. But ever the submariner, he cautioned. So he's not running ahead of himself and his team and the people. He cautioned that vigilance would remain essential to ensuring that this war is won. Vigilance. He cautioned that vigilance would be essential. Another key word, essential, vigilance. So you must keep your eyes and ears out for everything so that you can act to cauterize whatever problematic situation arises so that it doesn't spread like COVID-19. So he cautioned that vigilance would remain essential to ensuring that this war is won. And that's the story of how Portugal became one of, if not pretty close to being, the country with the highest vaccination record. 86%. That's the story. Now, we are aware that there are many of you who are all over our YouTube channel with your multiple messages, and also those who have been calling. let's see if we can get in this call. This person has been holding forever. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Are you still there?
How you doing?
I am
Yes,
giving
can you hear
thanks.
me?
I'm hearing you. Good afternoon.
Yes, man. Blessed up. Good story. Very good story. Dervan, you remember when you had Dr. Innes on, I had sent in a message asking what she was going to do to acculturate the nation as far as the message. And as you're indicating, a media man, you know the importance of information. And as you just said, we don't have a unified message coming from and I think therein, that was the difference in Jamaica. We allowed so many different narratives to grow legs, and now we don't even know what to believe.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think that is basically it. You know what I mean? The problem, and like you said in the beginning, the government afforded this admiral the autonomy to develop a strategy of his own. Do you think, how many leaders do you think in our party gonna get, step aside from themselves and not have any road show or anything like that as the policies develop? Do you see something like that going on in Jamaica, sir?
Yeah,
the
well,
admiral getting the accolades.
well, we could have had that. We could have set up such a system, but the nature of our politics and how we practice it in Jamaica apparently has not allowed us to take that kind of approach. Mind you, the Prime Minister could argue for his part that as the leader of the country, he must be at the forefront because he is the leader of the country, and he must demonstrate leadership at that level, at the highest level, to deal with COVID-19. So he could argue that. I noticed the health minister is always quick to speak of the clinicians, as in the experts, and making it clear what is policy from what is medical. But outside of that, clearly Portugal is onto something, and it's something we can learn from. Yes.
Yeah, my credit is going to expire. But if you could speak on the reason why we did not develop a consistent message and afford all these Anansi stories and stuff like that to, come out front. If you could speak on that, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, take care. Perhaps because we didn't have a council or a task force like the one Portugal had, where they assembled the best of the very best of their people. I'm just trying to retrieve but we're out of time, eh? We're out of time. Let's pick up the conversation tomorrow, all things being well, life spare, as my late mother would say. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 4th of October, 2021. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Somebody please get me right now. Need somebody.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
afternoon. I am Daedran